Okay, in this video we're going to go through how to track calories, how to input them into MyFitnessPal app, and then also what's the point of doing either a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus. Okay, so firstly you're going to need a set of scales, and so you can pick these up from Kmart, super cheap, they're like 20 bucks and they do everything you need. Today I'm going to weigh some steaks, and so what I would do is put a plate onto my scales, and then I'm just going to start it. It'll start at 0, which is perfect, and then really simple, it's not rocket science. Chuck on your meat that you're going to eat, or whatever you're going to eat, weigh it out. Okay, 456 grams. So then I would go into my MyFitnessPal app and input that 450 grams of Scotch fillet, and then input, cool, done. And then you just go through that process over and over again. If you're making something like a salad where you put all of the things into one bowl, every time you put something in, you would just press tar, which would then start it from 0 again. Then you add the weight, put it in, tar again, next ingredient, add the weight, put it in, so on and so forth. You'll find that when you're weighing veggies, it doesn't really matter too much, to be honest, because veggies don't have that much calorie content, apart from starchy vegetables and things that are fatty, like avocados, etc. So you would track those. But for example, like spinach or some sort of light vegetable doesn't have much calorie content. That's why it's really important to eat certain foods based on what you're trying to achieve. So if I was trying to achieve or be in a calorie surplus, I would eat foods that contain more energy, okay? So that the volume in my stomach or in my body is taken up by foods that have a lot of content. But the reverse is what we want to do for trying to be in a calorie deficit, right? If I was eating heaps of fats, which are really calorie dense, then I'm going to have a hard time keeping my energy down below a certain amount. 9 times out of 10 though, most people undereat anyway, so the best place to start is usually proteins and fats to get your energy up and to get your calories up, but it really depends on the person. So based off what you're trying to achieve, this is why you adjust or what foods you're eating, okay? Cool, so basically you just go through, once you've inputted those foods into the app, it'll have your whole lunch or breakfast or whatever it is in total calories, and then you would just track that over the day. Now, if it's something that you eat quite frequently, you can actually just save that meal. Let's say you have quite frequently the same breakfast, right? 3 rashers of bacon, 2 eggs, and whatever. That can just get saved, and then the next day you would just put that into your next day of tracking, right? If you start to change foods or brands or things like that, that'll have different weights per rasher, for example. So like 1 rasher of bacon from X butcher might weigh more than another butcher, right? So you kind of want to, like, if you're chopping and changing a lot, still use a scale and weigh. But if it's really consistent and it's the same brand and same butcher, etc., then you can just copy it from the day before. That's essentially it, okay? So if your main goal is to try and lose weight or tone up, and we would have discussed this on the phone, you would be in a calorie deficit, which means you're trying to keep the energy down below your maintenance level. And then if you're trying to put on muscle or gain strength or put on size, you would be in a calorie surplus. So that's where you would start eating more calorie dense foods like proteins and fats. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, reach out.